YouTube channel right here. We got Bronson and Jess. Hey, kindergarten's easier the third time around.
All right, we're over here with Wheeling Wine and Whiskey, and we're with Jason. We're about to be on their podcast.
All right, continuing with Trail Hero 2022. The fun just does not stop. And I've got two special guests this morning. YouTube channel right here. We got Bronson and Jess. Welcome to the podcast. You know, like today, for example, you're going to go out wheeling and what, you know, tonight you spend 3 hours in the camper editing?
Good morning from Trail Hero. Starting off the day, we got invited to Wheeling Wine and Whiskey, an epic all-about off-road podcast. If you like listening to off-road podcasts or just want to tune in to hear all about wrecked gear, how we got started, how Jess and I met, and all about the stuff behind the scenes, then make sure to tune in. Link will be in the description.
Alright, you guys, we're still here at Trail Hero, and we're going to run TNT, and the way to get to TNT is by going through Mills Mile.
After talking about wheeling all morning on the podcast, Jason and his Wheeling Wine and Whiskey crew were feeling a little rowdy and wanted to hit the trails with the wreck crew. Let's get this post-podcast wheeling party started. Jason and his crew are keeping up no problem. Now it's time to level up to TNT.
I'm TNT, Dynamite, TNT, and I win the fight. There you go. That's my singing. So you're welcome, YouTube. Hollow gets dirty.
That's my babe, picking up the trail. This obstacle is a good little warm-up for what's up ahead. Small off-camber slab that ends up in a notch where you got to work your front tires up without binding your front axle too much. Once you get the fronts over, you turn hard passenger up the wall.
Wheeling Wine and Whiskey's car is rear engine. How cool is that?
Here's where the trail splits. The right line is more of a rear steer friendly, and at the bottom left it's just as hard, but no benefit for a rear steer. It's more of a point and shoot, pick the right line. The reason the rear steer is helpful on this top right line is because the line cambers to the driver's side towards a shelf. While you're climbing up some super steep steps, you have to always be keeping your driver's side, front, and rear tires from wedging in that shelf. If they bind up in the shelf, it will cause your passenger side front to lift and want to roll you back. You'll see the entire time I'm climbing, I'm searching for traction as well as not getting bound up in that shelf.
There it is.
All right, big boy, let's get a shot.
This angle here better shows how steep, tall, and uneven this line is.
Looks good. I like it.
There it is. Yeah, buddy.
Leave it to Chase to be rocking that slow but smooth Sammy style, just steadily creeping right up this thing.
That's it. Hey, bud. You took the right line.
Camber.
You took the correct line.
Somebody's got to take the Get Nuts title today. I'm here for it, baby.
Last Samurai coming after us.
Samurai. Hitting a movie theater near you.
Remember I was talking about that bottom line being just as hard? Well, I wasn't kidding. You have to roll into it, and if you don't have just the right line, it's gonna have its way with you. This is a pretty new buggy for Lee, and a new buggy is just like a puppy. It's got to know when to sit when you want it to sit.
We'll see you back at camp.
How you feeling?
Relaxed.
Relaxed?
A little bit of blood in my head.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, look at you guys. Teamwork makes the dream work.
A little twisted in here. We're gonna have to winch from both sides to try to rotate them and drop them back in and not get them to go the other way, because that'd be bad.
Just because our buggies can take a beating doesn't mean that we have to beat them when it's not necessary. That also takes all the fun out of a creative, clean recovery. We hook up a line in the front passenger axle and then one on the driver's side rear chassis corner. Doing that should rotate the buggy and put the tires right back on the obstacle without banging the chassis around on the rocks, saving the panels to be punished for another day. Once we get the rig on all fours on the obstacle, we winch from the bottom while letting out on the top one to set it down nice and easy. Once you've been upside down or on your side or vertical for a period of time, the oil can get in the cylinders. A little bit is alright and will burn out through the exhaust and kill any of the local mosquitoes from the oil smoke. But you'll always need to check to make sure you don't have a cylinder with too much oil in it, because it can bend a rod and ruin your motor.
Flawlessly recovered. From 12 o'clock twisted, rotated, set back down, started right up. Just another day of hanging out on the trail and having fun wheeling.
After that, we talked about alternative routes, which you would have to go way out and around and drop back in. Like a true rock crawler, Lee had one question.
You think it's possible?
Yeah, I think it's possible.
Lee gets back in there and shows that line who's boss. Next up is Jason with Wheeling Wine And Whiskey.
What's your line right now?
What's that?
You hitting this?
Yeah.
Heck
We came
yeah.
to wheel, right?
Hell yeah, we did.
Guys over here at Wheeling Wine and Whiskey like to party, and it shows.
Yeah.
Party boy right there. Woo!
Came out here to wheel.
Look at this guy. Straight party mode.
While we watch the Sammy get rowdy that's part of the Wheeling Wine and Whiskey crew, I want to give them a big thank you for inviting us to be on their podcast. It's super cool to do other forms of off-road media. Also, I want to throw out there, it's been verified these guys are super legit. Not only do they talk the talk about off-road, they come out and rock the rocks. I find it way easier to follow and support people who are real and get out and do what they cover. That being said, be sure to tune into our episode of Wheeling Wine and Whiskey that drops November 1st and let them know that Wreck Gear sent you. Link will be in the description. Sponsored in part by BFGoodrich Tires, Warren Industry Winches, KC HiLites, and AXEL Off-Road Helmets. Best way to support this channel is give that subscribe button a little skiddly-doo, diddle that notification bell, give this video the fat finger, and leave a dirty little comment below.